is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else can it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. I, of course, am your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. Week number 7 in the National Football League. Minnesota Vikings at the Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And so here's an opportunity. It's funny. I've been listening all week to Buffalo Bills fans have a pity party for themselves over the loss to the Patriots. It was the referee's fault. It was everybody's fault but their own. But look, I had at least seven, and I might be underestimating how many I had at least 7 Bills fans use the phrase, we've got an easy or soft schedule coming up, so we need to get some W's. And I looked around, I said, did you just say that as a Bills fan? Did you just say you got a soft schedule? Do I need to remind you that you're the Bills? Since when do you call other teams garbage? Since when do you get to look at your schedule and pick out wins and losses? You're the Bills. Remember that. Keep that in mind. So as we approach this game, Minnesota coming to their place, a team, rookie quarterback struggling right now offensively. When I looked at the schedule, I said, this is the perfect game for the Bills to have a huge letdown and smack the Bills fan base with a nice fresh bucket of ice cold wake the hell up. And so I saw this one coming. Now, I still thought the Bills would find a way to win because they are a better team than the Vikings. And they did everything that I thought they were going to do in this game, minus the turnovers. I did not expect the Bills to be this sloppy in this game. Let's talk about this one, man, as this was a huge trap game for the Buffalo Bills at home against the Vikings. Look, if you're serious about making a playoff push, about possibly winning this division, hell, even if you don't win this division, you can still make the playoffs. And I'm using the P word. It's early, but this needs to be said. If you're serious about making a playoff push, then you can't lose at home to the Vikings. It's not allowed. It's just not allowed. If you lose to the Vikings at home, then I myself will make sure that you don't get a ticket to the dance. So this was a must get for the Buffalo Bills. 7-11 fumbles on the opening possession after a personal foul and a huge Sammy Watkins catch helps the Bills get into the Vikings red zone. So right away, the sloppiness ensues for the Bills. And I thought that this was a terrible omen to start out the game because you're driving down the field, you're looking to get some points, you get a nice completion to Sammy Watkins, and the Vikings help you with a personal foul, tack that on, and you're already in Vikings territory in the red zone. You're looking to get points. 7-11 puts it on the carpet. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good. So right there, you're seeing the Bills already starting to self-destruct early in this ball game. But it's early. I mean, things happen. So you're just like, okay, shake it off. You got Teddy out there. Teddy! Rookie quarterback. You expect him to make a couple of mistakes in this game, give you some opportunities. And that he did. This is a really good Bills defense looking to bounce back after the disappointing effort a week ago versus the Patriots. So you're expecting them to come out, be aggressive, get after Teddo, stop the run, force Teddy to beat them, make him make mistakes. So Bills fumble again. This time it's Robert Woods. And this time they're in their own territory. Last time they were deep in Vikings territory. So you fumble the football. The biggest problem there is you're taking points off the scoreboard, but you're not giving up great field position. So at least last time you could say, all right, damn, we missed an opportunity to put up some points, but now we can send the defense out there. If they get a stop, we'll get the football back. No harm, no foul. This time, though, you're deep in your own territory when Robert Woods decides to put it on the carpet. And now you turn it over. Vikings already take the football with a chance to get points on the board. They're already in scoring range. Now the question becomes, can we keep these guys out of the end zone? So that's a huge fumble when you turn it over deep in your own territory. And so it leads to a Vikings field goal, defense able to stand up, as you would expect. It's 3-0 Minnesota early in this game. Teddo intercepted on the tip drill by Leotis McKelvin. And this was expected. I expected the Bills to get after Teddo in this game, force him to make mistakes. Again, rookie quarterbacks are susceptible to turning the football over on the road. they're susceptible to turning it over, period, but especially on the road against good defenses. And this Bills defense qualifies as a good defense in this league. So I expected turnovers. We got turnovers in this game. The first of a few in this game by Tedo, picked off by Leotis McKelvin in Bills territory. So this is a mistake, much like the 7-11 fumble. You give it away when you're looking to get points. You're in Bills territory. Tip drill happens. Leotis McKelvin picks you off. The Bills take over. You don't get any points on the possession. So that's a tough break for the Vikings on that possession. Then two intercepted again by Leotis McKelvin again. But much like the Bills' second mistake in this game, that second fumble by Robert Woods, this one happened in Vikings territory. So now the Bills are the recipient of the football deep in the opposition's territory, already in scoring range when they get the football. And this time, the very next play, Samuel Watkins catches a strike from Kyle Orton. And just like that, it's 7-3 Bills on top. Give it up for Mr. Sammy Watkins as he gets in the end zone. And he had a monumental game for the Bills. Without his presence, there's no W in this game for the Buffalo Bills. They're up. And this is why you draft the young fella with that pick. This is why you move up in the draft and give up a first rounder for games like this. This is where that pick is paid off and the dividends are beginning to be reaped of that trade. Huge game by Samuel Watkins, and that was a huge play to give the Bills a 7-3 lead. FredEx hurt on that possession, however, and he was the guy you were feeding the rock to early on. He goes down, and he's going to be out for a while with an injury, so that's a big one for the Bills. But you still got C.J. Spiller, talking about Spiller, talking about Spiller, C.J. Spiller. You still got Spiller, right? He's a thriller, so give him the football, right? So Vikes take back the lead on a drive that's dominated by Greg Jennings. And he really, you know what, I feel sometimes that the Vikings don't utilize Greg Jennings enough. I almost feel like he's the forgotten man. You'll see CP84 get involved. You'll see them get Jarius Wright the football. They'll even get the secret weapon, Jerick McKinnon the football. But sometimes you forget about Greg Jennings, and I'm like, hey, he's probably the most polished receiver you got. Give him the football, man. Let this guy, and early on in the season, he started to do that. Started to get the football. Now it seems like they're going back into this funk where he's not getting the football. Good to see him get off on this drive, get them down the field, and CP84 caps it off with a little bubble screen, is able to get into the end zone. It's now 10-7, Vikes back on top in this football game. 53-yard C.J. Spiller. C.J. Spiller. It's a thriller. Run, and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. C.J. in the game, no FredEx. He's going to get more touches. It's about to get nasty. C.J., get up. What are you doing? C.J., get up. Uh-oh. No FredEx. C.J. is grasping at the collarbone. And he's gone. He's done. Collarbone's broken. He's finished. And, oh, no. What do we do? Now you got to hand it to Booby. That's nice. He's okay, but he's not real. There's no explosion in this backfield now. You're going to have to figure something out at the running back position. Whether you got a dude on the practice squad that you like, or you got to go out on the streets. Hey, it's tough on those streets, man. So hopefully you got something in-house. But I don't like what's going on at the running back position in Buffalo right now. But it is what it is. You know, you got to play through these injuries. And so CJ leaves the game, but not before he helps you get a field goal on the board. It's 10-all. So Bills and Vikings locked into a 10-10 tie. And Kyle Orton is picked off right before the half by Robert Blanton. And you know what? For all of the things that he does well, Kyle Orton, for him to be a veteran, he makes a lot of mistakes. And that's part of the reason why, as a Bills fan, you can only be so excited about this team, because you still got to remember Kyle Orton is your quarterback. And he's going to take unnecessary sacks. He's going to fumble the football. We saw that last week. We might have even seen it this week a little bit. He's going to make some ill-advised throws, turn it over. And he's going to remind you why he's been a backup for the majority of his career and why he started in 5 different spots but never really been the guy. because these are the mistakes that he's going to make. Now he's going to help you and he's going to hurt you. And you saw a little bit of both of those things in this game, just like he did against Detroit 2 weeks ago. So here he throws a very, very ill-advised pick, and it leads to Vikings points right before the half as 55-yard Blair Witch project as Blair Walsh bangs it home. It's now 13-10, Vikings up at the halftime break. We come to the third quarter. 28-yard Jarius Wright catch. This was a very controversial catch. Did he get his feet in? Did he not? I thought it was a catch. And you know how the league does and how these officials, it's a stands league. If they call it a catch on the field, which they did, you could argue that that right foot was off the ground as he got possession of the football. You couldn't really tell, though. It wasn't conclusive evidence. So if they called it a catch on the field, they're going to leave it a catch. If they had called it incomplete, they would have left it incomplete. So it just really boiled down to what was the call on the field. It was a catch, so it stood as a catch. That leads to another Jarius Wright catch, which gets them inside the red zone and inside the 10-yard line, down to the 7, before an avalanche of Bills sacks. I'm talking about everybody got involved, man. I even think I seen Ralph Wilson come from the grave and get a sack after that Jarius Wright catch. You had Super Mario, you had Marcel Darius, it seemed like everybody was getting involved. Darius got him one. Jerry Hughes got him one. Man, everybody got a sack after that. They forced them to kick a field goal. It's now 16-10. And you want to know where the difference is in this game? Because that's the difference right there, is that the Vikings settled for too many field goals in this game. What's the mantra? What's the mantra? Come on, you know it. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. And because the Vikings failed to get a touchdown here, they left the door slightly ajar. Yeah. The door is open. Now, all the Bills have to do is come and kick it open. And so they're only down 6. A touchdown beats you now if you're the Vikings. So you need more points. You got plenty of time, but you got to stop kicking field goals. That's a surefire way to lose in this league. So Kyle Orton fumbles in the Vikings red zone. My goodness. Stripped by Griffin, recovered by Anthony Barr. Those are the type of mistakes that just makes you frustrated as a Bills fan right there. That's what I'm talking about. Bad turnover. Protect the football. Okay, know your surroundings, know where you are, know that you're in scoring range. Put the football away. That's what I'm talking about right now. I talked about it earlier. I alluded to the fact that he's sloppy with the football sometimes. Here's an opportunity for you to get something on the scoreboard. Instead, he fumbles. It leads to Vikings points. I talked about the Vikings getting down the field with the Jarius Wright catch and getting a field goal. But there you have it. Now it's 16-10. Vikings up in this game as we're in the fourth quarter. And so now the game's on the line now. I mean, we've went through the whole fourth quarter, stayed basically status quo, going tit for tat, neither team really doing much of anything. Hell, this Bills crowd is quiet. I mean, the Vikings have dominated the second half. After that fumble by Kyle Orton in the Vikings red zone, they've done nothing else, have the Bills offensively. And so it looks like the Vikings might have creeped into Buffalo and stolen one. And for all of those Bills fans out there talking about how easy their schedule is, wake up! You're the damn Buffalo Bills. Nothing's easy for you, okay? Kyle Orton is your quarterback. If you had a quarterback that wasn't so turnover prone, maybe you could call some of these games easy because your defense is that good. Okay, especially when you're at home. But because Kyle Orton is your quarterback, let me be clear as day. Nothing is going to come easy to you. Nothing. Okay? Now, I will say this. The Bills last season, hell, maybe even earlier in this season with E.J. Manuel at quarterback, might have lost this game. Might have lost this game. The Bills last year for sure would have lost this game. Okay? So I will say this. This team has a certain it factor right now that they're learning how to win ball games. These same games that they were losing 2 seasons ago, last season, they're finding a way to win. Now, I don't know what that means for you in the grand scheme of things because, again, you don't play the Minnesota Vikings every week. You play like this against the Patriots, and guess what? You lose just like you lost last week against the Patriots. Because this was not a well-played ball game. This was very sloppy between 2 football teams that played terrible ball games. The Vikings turned it over. They were sloppy. You turned it over. You were sloppy. You just happened to be at home, and you had the last laugh in this game. But I will give you credit where credit is due. You would have lost this game last season, so I must give you credit in that regard. But here we go. This is a huge, what a finish to a game that was extremely sloppily played and was not very exciting for 3.5 quarters. What a finish this game had. So here we go. After a crucial drop on 2nd and long, with a little bit over a minute left in this game, Scott Chandler redeems himself with a 4th and 20 grab for 22 yards. That was big. I know Buffalo Bills fans, when it was 4th and 20, said to themselves, I cannot believe we just lost to the Minnesota Vikings. This is a bunch of BS. Okay, Bills fans are probably pacing around their house, going nuts. We just lost to the Minnesota Vikings. I cannot believe this. This is so much bullcrap. I know you were going around your house, snapping. And then Scott Chandler redeems himself. You probably wanted to slap Scott after that 2nd and about 17 drop that he had. And then he comes back, redeems himself on 4th and 20, and gets that catch for 22. And you're like, let's go, Scott. That's what I'm talking about. So now you're excited. You're pumped. And now you got another huge 3rd down on your hands, 3rd and 12 from the Vikings 20-yard line. Or excuse me, 3rd and 12 from the Vikings 38-yard line. And Samuel Watkins comes up with a huge play. Give it up for Mr. Sammy Watkins. And he had a huge game, about 7 or 8 grabs, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. We'll talk about that second one here in a second. But he was monstrous in this game. He gets a huge catch and run. It gets down to the Vikings 20-yard line. You still got that timeout. Go ahead and ice that thing. Go ahead and call it. So now you're in business with about, let's call it 34 seconds left in this ball game. So then you go, you throw the football, and Kyle Orton is flagged for intentional grounding. Ball is pushed back to the 30-yard line, and you get a 10-second runoff because of the fact that you don't have any more timeouts left. So now things getting a little dicey. And so now with 24 seconds left, Kyle Orton drops back and finds 7-11. Remember, he was a scapegoat early on in the game with a drop, or excuse me, with a fumble on that first possession. He makes a huge catch to get the football down to the 1 in double coverage. Orton gives him a chance to make a play. He goes up in double coverage, comes down with it, but he's down at the 1, inbounds. You got to hustle. You got to get down. Everybody, come on, get down. We got to spike it. We got to spike it. Everybody line up. We can't line up wrong, because if we line up wrong, it's a 10-second runoff, and it's only 5 seconds left. Everybody line up right. Spike it. With 4 seconds left on the clock. Excuse me, 5 seconds left on the clock. Orton is able to get the Bills up to the line, to the 1-yard line, spike the football. Time for one play, and one play only. So this is it. Game on the line. 16-10. Vikings nursing a 6-point lead. Bills threatening with one final play left from the 1-yard line. Can they get it done? This is why you draft Sammy Watkins with the 1st-round pick. This is why you trade away a future 1st-round pick. This is why you make the move. This is how you justify the move right here, right now, right here, right now. This is how you justify that move. 5 seconds left. Kyle Orton drops back, reads the field, and he's going Sammy all the way, okay? Sammy wins a one-on-one matchup with a 2nd-year pro that was also a 1st-round pick in Xavier Rhodes. X-Man couldn't hold his ground, and Sammy gives him an inside move, comes back outside. Perfectly thrown football by Kyle Orton. Great catch. Gets both feet down to Samuel. And the Buffalo Bills, in improbable come-from-behind fashion, get it done 17-16 at home and avoid a disaster versus the Minnesota Vikings. Give it up for Mr. Sammy Watkins. He comes through with a huge TD catch to preserve the W. And what a loss this would have been for the Bills, but it's a huge win. And these are the type of wins that builds confidence, that even when you're down, this kind of lets the team know we're never out of it, because we can find a way to win. We've done it before. We can do it again. These are those kind of confidence-building wins. If you're the Vikings, Tough road loss. You're a young team with a young quarterback. These things happen. Got to find a way to hold on. But this was more about the Bills here. This was more about a team that needed this win, that was at home despite adversity with the turnovers, despite adversity with the injuries to your two top backs, despite the adversity of just needing a win and seeing a team come into your house and try to steal one. They found a way to rise above the adversity and get it done. That's huge. That's a big win. It keeps you on pace with this Patriots team that's one game ahead of you. You're at 4-3 on the season. Get back over to 500, and so you feel good about where you are as a team. And if you're the Bills, that's a way to get it done. It wasn't pretty, but every week it's not going to be pretty. They're not always going to be aesthetically pleasing. Not always going to be able to look and say, that's a beauty right there. Hey, on a scale of 1 to 10 on the beauty meter, this was a 2. I mean, this was ugly. This was butt ugly, but it's a W. This isn't college football. We don't grade it on how aesthetically pleasing it is. We don't grade it on how easy of a victory it was. All you do is get the W, and that's how we weigh it on a scale. We weigh it on a scale of W's and L's. And right now, you got 4 in the left-hand column, 3 in the right hand. That's all that matters. Big win for the Bills. Tough loss on the road for the Vikings, who now dropped to 2-5 on the season. That's going to do it for Bills and Vikes. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 7 in the National Football League. I'll see you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.